So, with the announcement of Seraph coming to the NA version of the game, or at least the main interlude of Seraph coming to the game, meaning that every player will have an opportunity to get their hands on a BB-chan, I thought it'd be very fitting for me to go ahead and make a video preemptively telling you why you gotta get your hands on this servant, okay? I'm not biased. If you come up to the streams, maybe or maybe not, you see that my BB is grown to level 100. Maybe I'm a little biased, maybe I'm not, but this is a legitimate, very, very solid servant, all right? Despite my bias that I might have towards this servant, she is very, very good, and we're going to talk about that in today's video. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and begin, starting off with BB's hits. And when you look at BB's hits, you kind of just see a servant that looks like standard .jpg art servant, right? She's got 2 arts cards with 3 hits apiece with 0.61% NP gain per attack, meaning that while her normal arts cards may not gen a whole lot of NP, if you're able to crit on them, you will actually refund a massive amount of your NP back. And, well, BB may or may not have something in the back pocket for that. But you'll also notice that her star gen is a little high at 14.7% with 2 quick cards with 4 hits apiece. This means that BB herself can actually gen quite a few stars if you're able to get both of her quick cards in a Brave Chain. Also, keep in mind that her arts cards have a passive 10% buff due to her passive territory creation buff, meaning that her arts cards are a little better than they might seem. Now, obviously, you guys know that BB may or may not live up to the expectations because she doesn't have the 5-hit extra attack, which, if you're wondering, hey, ZTO, why does the extra attack matter? Well, let me tell you, it's a composite card that gens stars, NP, and does big boy damage, and 5 hits is the gold standard, and BB, despite her being one of the just most banging servants of all time, only has a 4-hit extra attack. So you know what that means. Obviously, worst servant of all time. I'm just playing. I wouldn't have grailed this lady if she wasn't absolutely goated. Despite her only having a 4-hit extra attack, what if I told you she was absolutely goated with the sauce? And let me get into her skills to show you why this servant is absolutely cracked beyond belief. Let's start off with skill 1. With skill 1, she has the ability to remove an ally's debuffs, give them a 3k heal, and 1 instance of debuff immunity that lasts for 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Meaning that every 4 turns, BB can remove your allies' debuffs, all of them. Doesn't matter if they've been debuffed with attack, defense, buster down, crit rate down, it doesn't matter. All those debuffs getting cleansed off immediately. Stuns, charms, all that annoying nonsense, BB can cleanse as a DPS, by the way. Give them a chunky 3k heal and make them immune to the next round of debuffs with that debuff immunity. And again, it's on a 4-turn cooldown. This is insanely good for a DPS to have because it allows BB as a DPS to function somewhat as a healer as well, fulfilling the job of the likes of, say, Iris Field or, say, Medea Lily. But again, this is only dedicated to her first skill, not her entire kit, and she has other things that helps her be a DPS. And again, this is just skill 1. When you move into skill 2, she has the ability to remove an enemy's evasion and invincibility buffs and then smack them in the face with a 100% stun chance on a 6-turn cooldown, meaning that nobody is safe from BB because you pop an evasion, you pop an invincibility, you're not safe. She's yeeting that off of you and then smacking you in the face with the stun for even trying to defy her, right? For even trying to dodge her hits, she smacks you with a dodge. The only thing that gets around this is like the very few bosses that have like unremovable dodge and unremovable invincibility buffs. But again, those are so few and far between that you're going to get a lot of value out of BB because she just says, a yeet, let me remove your evasion and invincibility and then smack you in the face with a big fat stun. And then the third skill, this is so gas that I'm actually going to talk about its upgraded form. Now, if you're just on the NA version, you're just going to get 50% crit damage and a nice star weight for 3 turns a pop on a 5-turn cooldown. That in and of itself is insanely good. That is literally the Jolter crit buff. And I mean, we all know how good Jolter is, how sick and nasty with the sauce she is with crits. But then BB said, hold on, hold my beer, let me take it a step further. In the future, BB will get, on top of this Jolter crit skill, a 30% arts buff for 3 turns to not only make her arts buff even better, because remember, she has that passive 10% arts buff, meaning this is really a 40% arts buff for 3 turns, buffing the NP gain and damage of her NP. But on top of that, she refunds 10% of the party's NP gauge every time she does a Brave Chain, because her extra attack becomes a 10% party-wide NP buff. So she becomes absolutely dummy insane after she gets this buff. Keep in mind, originally, this was just Jolter's crit buff, and Jolter's crit buff hasn't been buffed and is still good to this day. And they were like, what if BB got that, but it was actually dummy broken insane? But you may be sitting there being like, oh, ZTL, I mean, some of her skills are good. Sure, she's a DPS with a little bit of utility. She can remove some buffs, and sure, her 3rd skill is absolutely dummy insane. But like, her NP's gotta suck, right? No, her NP's insane because despite the fact that she's a free NP5 unit, that's right, you can get this servant NP5 for absolutely free. And I will be showing on screen what BB looks like from NP1 to NP5 compared to other servants that also hit around her same weight class to show that this is the level you can expect from BB. But her NP actually has an effect where she refunds the party's NP gauge by 20%, meaning that not only does BB have a 5-hit NP that can refund a bit of her own NP back, but she also just says, screw it, I'm going to give the entire party, including myself, 20% of their NP gauge back. That's a 5th of her own and a 5th of the entire party's NP gauge refunded while she's doing damage. And keep in mind, this isn't a servant you gotta summon for. You don't have to invest any Saint Quartz at all whatsoever. This servant is undeniably free. You will get this servant for free at NP1 for just doing the Seraph event that comes out in like 2 days. And if you want further copies of this unit, you can get them for gold prisms. Now you may be saying, but ZTL, I don't have enough 4 and 5-star servants to sell for 5-star man or like the gold mana prisms. Well, don't worry. If you do the events, right, you start collecting the free-to-play servants, when they come back for their reruns, you can sell those free-to-play servants and get free gold cubes back, and then use those gold cubes to get yourself an NP5 BB. I mean, let's also not discount the fact that a lot of celebrations will just give you a gold cube for free, and if you just like hold on to those, you can get yourself NP5 BB. But even if you can't do that, just sell NP5 free-to-play servants you get on their reruns. Like, make sure you get them the initial time, because obviously you're a good FGO player and you're maintaining and you're playing all the events, you're getting all the free-to-play servants, so that when their reruns come around, you can sell those extra copies and get gold cubes for free. Meaning, this is a free NP5 servant that can do a lot of damage, she can support the party, yeet enemy buffs off of them, stun them, adding a layer of survivability to this servant's kit, and then her 3rd skill, which is already good, is going to get a buff in the future. Do I need to say more? Does anybody need any more proof why I grailed this servant? Maybe it's because she's a Sakura face. Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot confirm or deny if that is the case, but she is also absolutely sick nasty with the sauce. And if you do not farm the Seraph main interlude when it comes out in a few days, you are an absolute fool for not doing so, because this servant is absolutely broken. I still use them to this day to clear like story and event bosses. Like, she's absolutely insane. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think of BB? Do you think maybe I'm gassing up BB a little bit too much? Or do you think I didn't even give her enough praise? You know, maybe I'm a little bit of a BB simp, but like, I think she's a little sick nasty with the sauce. Regardless, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for daily FGO content. If you want more bonus content, you can attend my streams, which are every single weekday, and the Twitch link is in the description down below. Or you can click that join button to become a channel member and get access to all the extra videos I upload for channel members. Finally, if you want to support the channel for free, you can download LD Emulator in the description down below. It's that first link, and it actually allows you to play FGO in 120 FPS. I stream that on Twitch, and I still get comments from people being like, bro, why is the content so smooth? And I'm like, bro, it's just because LD Emulator is just that good. 120 FPS just feels smooth like butter. But anyway, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If you want help with FGO, join the Discord. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.